Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the RIP Tour. Today, we have a little bit of a different episode. We have noticed quite a lot of people coming to the event this year saying that it's their first time. They don't really know a great deal about Horror Nights. They don't know what the event has to offer. I've seen loads of people asking about tickets and different houses and all the different things that Horror Nights could do. So we thought we would do an episode on Halloween Horror Nights for beginners. But as usual, we can't get into any episode until we know who your tour guides are. So Tim, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Just been, we spoke on the phone earlier, so you know how I'm doing.
I know
but
it's
I've
happening. Yeah,
I've been chilling in the garden, grilling some food. So yeah,
I know. I saw that. I was pretty jealous of that. It's gross outside too. I told you that the humidity is back in Florida. So
yeah.
2 seasons here: hot, and then it's really hot. So we are getting into the really hot season.
Yeah. And our other tour guide for today is Ash. What's up?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hello.
Good. Yeah, doing good today. I was working all day yesterday, but off the day, had a coffee. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I'm liking the whole little horror background you've got going on there.
Oh yeah, actually a couple of prints.
Nice.
With the
So
prints
we
and the t-shirt.
Yeah, and the
Yes, sir.
That's
classic
cool.
monsters. We are in the midst of packing everything up. So usually it's decorated in more kind of pop culture phenomenons, I guess. But everything's in boxes. You see.
That just means.
So does this mean when you move to the new house, me and Tim are going to be like so jealous of your new backdrop?
That's what I was just gonna say.
Because I've got like a little makeshift one of a print that I don't even have framed yet. Ash is just going to have a whole pop culture shelf.
It's gonna be a shrine.
Nice. Well, we are missing our boy Luke again. Luke is in the process of moving, so we will
Put
get
another
Luke
week's
back.
vacation in.
Yeah, we'll get him back as soon as he is done doing all his stuff. So don't worry, guys. He's coming back.
Yeah.
Yep. We did have to check you were still alive today, though. That was.
But yeah,
that was one thing.
I'm
We
surprised.
hadn't heard from him in a while.
It did take him a little bit to answer too, because we were getting a little worried. Like, are you alive, Luke?
He
Hello?
had like 150 messages.
Oh,
But anyway,
God.
guys, again, the three of us came together and we thought we would give you a brief overview of Halloween Horror Nights as a whole. Maybe you've been before and there's some things that you don't know about the event. Maybe you've never been before and you just want to know what Halloween Horror Nights has to offer. And hopefully we can learn you a few things. So Ash wrote a little brief script. We're going to take it in turns to get some bullet points out and highlights of the event, and then we will wrap it up at the end and share a few personal tips. So what is Halloween Horror Nights? Halloween Horror Nights is the world's premier Halloween event. Halloween event held at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure since 1991. Now we have events in Orlando, Hollywood, Singapore, and Japan. But obviously, have you guys ever been to Hollywood? I haven't.
No, unfortunately.
No, never
No.
been at.
I mean, this show mainly concentrates on Orlando. We do touch a little bit now and again on Hollywood, but I've personally never been to any of the other ones apart from Orlando. But just so you know that the event is all the way around the world now. It's a ticketed event, so you do have to pay extra to get into the event. It started in 1991, as everybody should know if they've listened to our history episodes. But we are focusing now on what you should expect from Halloween Horror Nights 30 onwards. The creative team at Universal Studios, I'm not sure who actually leads the creative team now that Mike's left.
It's a great question.
The names totally left.
Yeah, I mean, from 29, I think the creative team for Scare Zones was Late Braswell, and then was it Charles Gray and
Wasn't Patrick Bralliard there for a
yeah,
little bit
it was
too,
Patrick
right?
Bralliard and Charles Gray, I think, who shared
Yeah.
the mazes, I believe.
Yeah. Because obviously Mike Aiello, who was the creative lead, stepped aside to work on other projects. But basically, Halloween Horror Nights is what it is. It says on the tin. It's a Halloween event held at Universal Studios. So, Ash, what can we find at Halloween Horror Nights?
So yeah, two main things really would be houses, or if you want to call them mazes, and scare zones. Because I think a lot of people do listen to the podcast as well who've never been before, and we make talk about things like, mazes, scare zones, they're in this location, etc., but may even not know what we're talking about. So I think it's always nice to do an episode where it kind of breaks it down.
Yeah.
But I mean, a haunted house or a maze is, I guess, like an indoor attraction that will be set up in a soundstage, a building, even an attraction. Like they've used the Shrek Theatre, obviously, or even extended queues for attractions. And these are typically a branded IP, whether they've used, a movie, a TV show, etc., or their own kind of unique take on an original horror theme. But let me ask you guys first, if you had to pick one, which is your favorite? Would you say a branded IP or would you say an original? What do you think is your favorite?
Ooh, that's
really
hard because they
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
have like good and bad points, but I think I
Correct.
would have to sway more towards original.
So yeah, I mean, I probably would go on that end too. I love the originals, but it really is hard because there are so many nice, like, good IPs out there that
Yeah.
I want to see, or see them come to life, if you will. But the creative team at Universal do such a fantastic job with their originals. So I'm with Gary. I'm going to go with originals over IP.
Yeah, I think I'll have to agree with that, especially them telling their own story from beginning to end, and they put so much effort into that. And I think, like you guys said, especially the last 5 years, the originals that we've had at the event the last 5 years, especially, have just been phenomenal.
Yeah, agreed.
So, and then the other kind of main thing will be scare zones. These are, I guess, like deconstructed mazes, but outside. There's props, scare actors, people trying to scare you. They typically have like a theme, and they are dedicated to specific locations in the park. Now, a house are more like designated scares. They have a place, whereas these scare zones are out on the street. They require, I guess, more improv and guest interactions for the scare zones. And then obviously we have shows as well. Shows do like to rotate every year, whether it's a theme for that event or whether it's a booked, outside act. But yeah, I would say the mazes, scare zones, and shows are what really makes this event what it is.
Absolutely.
I
I got a question, because I know you guys both touched on this, and so is it in Singapore or Japan that the house is actually open during the day?
It's a good question. So I've seen a lot of videos from Singapore, a lot of walkthroughs, and they've all been at night. I'm not sure if it does open during the day.
I'm pretty sure one of them does. I just don't remember which one, if it's Singapore or Japan, because I think I've seen videos where you can actually go during the daytime, and I'm just like, wow, that's wild. So it's like an all-day event as well on top of the evening.
That would be cool.
What do you think about it? So let me ask you that. What do you think about that? What if that was to occur, like, you can go to the houses during the day while just regular park guests are there? I mean, are you in, or do you feel that this should just be a separate event? And
I think it should be a separate event. So basically, we had the HHN light, which was the two houses during the day. So you're basically saying if we had the full event, kind of similar to that, while I think the logistics for the scare zones will be difficult with regular daytime operations.
I don't remember if it was scare zone. I think it was only houses.
Or was it just houses
that were open during the day, if I'm not mistaken? I will do my homework, and I will see if I can find that video to see if I can post it. Or at least share to you guys. So you.
What
can
I
see
think
what
would be
the heck I was
cool
talking
is if they did the little Halloween Horror Nights light. So maybe pick one or two houses that every, like, just regular Universal admission could get you into, so people could dip their toes into the event.
I think that's a fantastic idea too, because then the people that go through that have never done something like that are like, oh, maybe I need to come to this event. Guess what? That's more money in Uni's pocket.
So like a trial, like you would get on a game or something like, or a service.
Exactly.
Even if it was just one original house, just to dip your not maybe something amazing, something at the back of the park, one of the tent houses. If they just even kept one, and I just think that would be cool. I would personally go through it, even if I'd paid for a Horror Nights ticket.
Yeah,
I would still go through that during the day as a regular park guest.
That's a great analysis too, because that's like like the free demo on the PlayStation Store that you're like, all right, do I want this game? And then you go and play like the first level or whatever it is.
But you do see a lot of people who are interested in Horror Nights, but they've never been because they don't know what to physically expect. And if you think about it, to a lot of people who maybe do like horror movies, but don't like the idea of true horror in your face, and don't want to necessarily pay the money for a ticket to hate it. I think that's pretty cool. That like last year, it was cool that everybody could get to go through the houses during the day.
Yeah,
So that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Yeah, for sure.
But
they will get a lot more customers too. I would assume.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
mean, which is bad for us fans, but good for the event.
Yeah, exactly.
So Tim, speaking of pricing,
Yep.
are you going to take us through the different types of tickets and stuff?
Yeah. So basically, with tickets, parking, food and drink, and merchandise, Halloween Horror Nights can be a pricey event. We recommend buying tickets in advance as they are the most expensive on the day of and at the park itself. So I'm going to kind of review some of the passes that they do sell. This is based off of HHN 29 prices. So obviously these will be adjusted. And we also don't know what is going to happen this year with pricing and tickets and passes. So we don't even know if all of these are going to come back. So this is we're just basing this as if this was a typical year and this is what normally happens. So a single admission ticket for HHN 29 was $67.99 for majority of the days, and then it goes all the way up to $93.99, which I'm assuming is probably like Friday night, Saturday night, which are the most more expensive days. Then we have the Express Pass add-on, so $89.99 to as much as $169.99. Again, whatever day that may be.
Yeah.
Then we have the Rush of Fear Pass. So this is where we get into some of the best bang for your bucks. So the Rush of Fear Pass is $109.99 in 2019. It covered 17 nights, which was basically every day in September. And then to add Express to it was $359.99. So honestly, this is great value for the money. So if we take out the Express, obviously when you add Express, it is definitely going to make it more expensive. But $109, so we're just going to say $110 for 17 nights. I mean, you do the math and divide that, what that is per night. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, such good value.
Yeah. Then we move into the Frequent Fear Pass. So the Frequent Fear Pass is a $119.99, again, back in HHN 29. So this one you get opening weekend and every night apart from Friday and Saturday. If you want to add Express, you can do that for another $399.99. This is definitely a very good value pass. So even if it doesn't matter if you're local or if you're coming in for a vacation like you, Gary, from the UK. I mean, if you're here for 2-3 weeks, I mean, $120 is covering, however many nights that you guys are here. That's incredible. So this one is my favorite. So this is the one that I usually buy every year. This is the Frequent Fear Plus. So this one is $139.99. It includes opening weekend and every day apart from Saturdays. But it does include the last Saturday in the event. If you want to add Express to this, it would cost you $459.99. To me, this pass right here is the best bang for your buck because you are basically getting every single night except those few Saturdays in between the first weekend and the last weekend.
And let's face it, you don't want to go on a Saturday.
No.
I've been there,
Saturdays are crazy.
I mean, there was one year I got, the pass that Tim's going to talk about next, which does include the Saturdays, and it just wasn't worth, personally, me, the extra money, because a Saturday, it was just so busy. Because I feel like a lot of people who buy single night tickets would go on a Saturday, whether it be in the weekend, with work, college, school, that sort of stuff. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to pay the extra for the Saturday.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that last one then. So the last pass is the Ultimate Frequent Fear. So this is for $259.99. There are no blockouts. So you basically can go get every single night to the event. You want to add Express to this bad boy, it's going to cost you $679.99. So I too for 1 year, I also did the Ultimate Frequent Fear just because of scheduling things that were going on with Brady and marching and all that kind of stuff. We figured that Saturday nights would have to help. I have to agree with Gary. I think Saturday nights, for me personally, they're just too insane. Maybe if I was more local, where it was only a 5-10 minute drive to get there, I might be more apt to it because then it's just. I mean, I love walking around the park to begin with, so even just walking around the park in the scare zones,
I was just
hanging
about
out,
to say that if you were like a
hang.
local and you just wanted to
Yeah,
go for like the sort of ambience and the sort of experience of the park in the
yeah,
dark and not necessarily go for houses, or maybe get there in, if a house is a short wait, you've scored, but maybe just go grab some dinner in the park. Even just, I know people just used to go just to watch like Bill and Ted and stuff, so it would be
correct.
worth it then, but definitely not for me.
I don't know if we want to talk about what this in the next portion or in here because it is a cost as well, and I guess it's more of an add-on experience. So I guess I'll add it to the end because there is something in there that we need to add that was not put in there. But so let's talk about Express Pass. How do you guys feel about Express Pass?
I do like the Express Pass. I mean, I came across the Express Pass by accident. I've always gone just normal, regular park admission. I think it was either HHN 22 or 23. I was just there for 2 days, and I thought I'm not going to get it done here, so I got the Express Pass add-on. I've not done it without Express since.
Nice.
Even with, but I think touching back what you said, Tim, as well, the Frequent Fear Plus Pass for $140 and as every day apart from the Saturdays, that is just $140 for all that is just unbelievable value. And I would do that one, the Express on top of that for the $459. That's what I would do. But again, this is for maybe first timers. It all depends on their schedule. If they're going for 1 or 2 nights, maybe.
Correct. Yeah.
The Express might be more value for them if they want to do everything.
Yeah.
Somebody like Gary who's here for 2-3 weeks, Express probably not worth it. You can do like Gary said, you can just walk around the park, maybe do houses that are 5-10 minute waits and focus on the ones you haven't done when you got a bit more time.
Yeah, I agree with that. It really depends on schedule. I think if you're just like you said, if you're if you're only going to be here for a day, maybe 2 at the tops, I think Express is a must.
Yeah,
because it also probably depends on the 2 days you're here. If you're here Friday and Saturday, and that's when you're going to be there, I think Express is a must. Yes, it can be a little steep, but it's also worth it in the end because you're going to get through everything.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're only here, especially if it's just one night, there's a chance you may not get through everything, because lines do get hefty.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, especially these days with 10 mazes, 5 scare zones, 2 shows, it does get tricky to do it in one night without Express.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
sorry, Gary.
No, I was going to say I agree with that. I've never personally done Express because of how lucky I am to get, I get about 12 to 13 nights at Horror Nights, so I can easily do each house 2-3 times before the end of it. So.
I'm in the same boat. Being local, I don't have to do Express. It would be nice, but I feel like I don't have to because I will get so many runs in every house, because I'm there, so many nights for the whole event anyway. So,
plus as well with some of the tips later on, hopefully we can tell you a way to do Horror Nights.
Yes, and I'm just getting
houses done.
The add-on that I was talking about is in there. It's Ash, you got it covered in somewhere else, so we're good. Okay. So the 2021 event is scheduled to run from select dates September 3rd to October 31st, totaling 42 days. So you have plenty of options if you're flexible, and obviously there will be some Florida resident deals as well. But definitely, I would buy it online if you can before to getting to the park because it will be cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And
so let's
also,
talk. Sorry, Gary.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say, and also we have some extra add-ons to the add-ons. There's some extra cool things you can do to give you that sort of VIP experience at Universal. One of them is something I absolutely love doing. I've had the pleasure of doing it with Tim before. I think I've done this 2-3 times total. And it is an event within Horror Nights called Scare Actor Dining. It's usually held inside of Munster's Cafe, typically from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I think you can go from 4:30. I think you can start heading in that way when Stain Scream's open. I think you can get escorted in that way. It's around $50 per person. That was the last price from 2019. And basically, it's a buffet-style dinner. and you get drinks included as well. The food's pretty good, isn't it, Tim? Would you agree?
For a buffet, yeah, I think it's actually really good.
I mean, the
At least
selection's
the
not
last couple times
amazing.
were. So yeah,
Yeah, the selection's not amazing. The food's decent quality. It's definitely the money. Your $50, I think, is a fair price for it.
Yeah.
Especially the 2019 that added that carvery, the meat, the meat carve section.
Yeah.
That was a nice bonus as well.
Yep.
The desserts are really good. I like the desserts, but it's not the food that you typically go for, is it, Tim?
That's correct. You want to see all of those characters that are out, whether they're from the house or the scare zone. You want to see those scare actors. And man, the interactions that you get from these guys in Monsters Cafe is just so good. Do you remember we were in line waiting to get food, and I don't know what that guy's name, Igor or whatever he was, the mad scientist.
Yes, he was awesome.
That guy was incredible, just coming up to everybody and talking to everybody in line and just really having great interactions. I mean, we've seen everybody, like the witch from Scary Tales.
Yeah.
I mean, Lil Sammy was there. I mean, anything that's from the event, usually they try to cover at least with a character in that experience.
And one cool thing as well is you get one digital photo per person.
Yes.
And because we went in a group and we just got the group photos, I think there was maybe 6 of us. We were able to get a picture with every scare actor in there because we were sharing them all anyway. So if you're in a group, definitely get a group photo with each scare actor and then just share the digital code between each other.
Yes.
And the awesome pictures to keep.
Now, I would like to share something because we kind of experienced what happened. So when you go to scare actor dining, typically you get to go into one of the houses early.
I think I know where you're going with this.
But you need to make sure like you have one of the earliest time slots to eat, because once it gets to the release of Stay and Scream, you're in with the rest of them. And we'll talk about Stay and Scream, in a little bit so you guys understand that. But we were under the impression that we were going to be let in as soon as we were done into it was Stranger Things that year.
It was, yeah.
Okay. But they were like, no, because basically the Stay and Scream had just let out, and we thought we were going to be put in the express line to get into that. So I'm not really sure what was supposed to happen with that. Do you remember anything with that? But I felt like we were supposed to be escorted into that.
I can say it from both sides, because you can get in there early, but then again, I think you're sort of wasting your money by leaving scare actor dining earlier.
And I'm not saying it like this is a move to do so you get into a house. I'm just saying that if you are done because you are in one of the earliest slots, you could.
I think the guy could have took us over and took us to the queue at least.
He just didn't want
but
to.
He didn't. He just said that obviously I had to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was just a miscommunication between the team members, to be honest. Because one person said, "Yeah, as soon as you're done, grab the team member and we'll escort you over," and then the other guy was like, "Well, no, it's too late now." So you can't leave early and get to a house early, but again, if you're paying $50 for the experience of scare actor, I think that's probably one of the times that you would want to miss going into a house early, because you want to. You can stay in scare actor right until the event opens, which is pretty cool. But I do love that, and if it's on this year, I think I will be doing it again this year.
Nice.
I've never done it. No, I've never done that one before.
This year's going to be our first year, Ash.
So I guess we're going to do it.
It's cool though, seeing because you guys, and they said I've done it 2-3 times. So having your first hand experience is pretty cool, because I know what it kind of entails, but that's pretty cool hearing your accounts of it.
Yeah, we've had some pretty cool experiences there as well.
For sure.
It's just a nice place to sit and chill, and we were in with a group of like 8 people, so it was just great just to have a chat and a laugh. And our friend Trish got like a fright every 5 minutes.
I was just gonna say, every 2 minutes the same scare actor was coming by and just like making her jump. It was so much fun.
It was really fun, really fun. But next up, another VIP experience, the RIP tour. It's not us, guys. There is an official RIP tour. It should be. we would love to get paid to take you guys around the park.
Heck yeah.
But it's basically where we got the name of the show from. The RIP tour, it's their play on the VIP experience, and that is what our sort of mission statement was when we made the show. When we created the RIP tour, we wanted to give you the VIP Halloween Horror Nights experience, and that's exactly what Universal does. This is a premium event. You get front of the line access to each house. You get a guided tour. You get a tour guide, which is why we say we are tour guides. So you get your own dedicated tour guide who basically takes you around the park all night. You get reserved spots for the shows. You get to go through all the scare zones. And the prices start at $199.99 for the public RIP tour, but I believe the private one is a little bit more pricey. There is a private one which is more expensive, and you can have up to 12 people in your party, and that is probably the better one to do, because once you are done with all the houses, zones, and shows, I think you have the tour guide to maybe midnight, I think. So you can go to whatever houses that you want. So if there's one house that you like you can just go through that house as many times.
Now, does that because I need to do some more homework onto this. Does that include like drink and food? Isn't there something?
I think there's like a pre-event inside Cafe La Bamba where you get like it's sort of like a mini scare actor. So they have a couple of people dressed up walking around. I think there's some like finger food, maybe as appetizers, and I think you do get drinks. Cool. I'm not sure alcoholic drinks are included. I'm not too sure. I'd have to probably read up a bit more. But I do know you get some VIP bars as well, don't you? Like Lombards, I think there's a VIP bar there upstairs where you get to go.
Wasn't there one above Jimmy Fallon too?
Yes, you do get to go above the Tonight Show. That's another cool one, so you get a good advantage point of the event. So it is worth it, and I know a lot of people that do this if they only have one night at Horror Nights. The public one isn't bad by any means, but if you were going to go the whole hog with a group of friends, it would definitely be the private one.
Yeah, I think the private one doesn't even give a price too. I think you've got to call for pricing. It doesn't give you the price up front. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but if you're going with a group of 12, can't you just be in a public one anyway?
I mean, possibly. I don't know how they would.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
So the next up, I've never personally done this. I think Ash, you might have, Unmasking the Horror. Yeah,
I've done two. I did one at 21 and one at 25.
So basically, Unmasking the Horror is daytime access to the houses. There's a set amount of houses open during the day, and you get a tour guide which takes you through the house. You get to see how the scares are done. You get to see the houses with the lights on. You get to hear loads of behind the scenes and interesting facts about how the houses were designed, the backstory, all that sort of good stuff. The prices are $80 or $130, depending on the 3-house or the 6-house tour. I believe they changed the policy recently where you can't take photos. Is that right?
Yeah, I think at 29 you couldn't take photos in it or video. Or I think you could take some stills, but not videos, I believe.
Yeah. I was just going to say it was no video, wasn't it? Some photos.
Maybe it's in the originals, but not the IPs.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, I think it was just the originals you could, and the IPs you couldn't.
Yeah. So Ash, since you've done the Unmasking the Horror, what do you think about it?
I think it's good. If you are obviously people like us who are interested in, I guess, the logistics, set pieces, Easter eggs, things like that. I think it's definitely good value, and you do this during the day as well, so it doesn't take away obviously any park time or anything like that. So for example, 25. Let me get this right. So we did like The Walking Dead, Body Collectors, Asylum in Wonderland, 25 Years, Freddy vs. Jason, Insidious. So they did a 3 split. So they did 3 originals and 3 IPs, which was nice to see how they did both of those. And then, like I said, a ton of Easter eggs, and then they explained how they did, pull certain scares off, things like that.
Awesome.
And in 21, I did only the 3-house one, and that was Winter's Night, the Poe House, and the Forsaken. And the Forsaken was the lights on tour for that. It always sticks in my mind. That was beautiful, going on the ship and seeing everything, how they did it. I do recommend that for sure, doing that. Unmasking the Horror Tour. If you have the time, to do it maybe the day before you go, I think it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's pricey, but for a lights on tour, but I definitely recommend it for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it. That's for
I
sure.
would love to do it.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. I think that would be perfect for people, again, who want to dip their toe into horror nights.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to buy, the night ticket. You could just do the Unmask and the Horror. And if you want to see how the houses are designed, I think that would be pretty cool to see what goes behind it. So,
For sure.
Yeah.
So that does it for the add-ons. Ash, is it you up next?
Yeah, so the next section we have when to go to the event or picking a night that suits you the best. And we've touched on this already. I think Friday and Saturdays tend to be the more expensive ticketing prices because, people are off weekends, locals, it's going to be more busy for sure. So if you can, we would suggest picking, this is kind of a tip, I guess, but we would suggest probably picking a midweek day if you are flexible. If you are picking the weekend day where it's tend to be, a lot busier, maybe do the express that we touched upon. And a lot of, I don't like to bash people, but a lot of the younger locals as well tend to come out on the weekends. But yeah, midweek is less busy, but just bear in mind it is Halloween Horror Nights, so there's going to be some impressive wait times on there regardless. So definitely plan ahead for the day you want to do, and then just figure out an itinerary from there.
So I've got a question for you guys. What's your favourite day to go to Horror Nights? Like day of the week?
Sundays.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sundays because I feel like, and I guess it, obviously depends on scheduling and stuff and work, but I feel like people clear out earlier on Sunday evenings because they have work and whatnot the next day.
That's true.
So it's honestly, with every night, later in the night, people do start clearing out.
Yep.
So any of those like higher weight houses, you probably can get in no problem.
Yeah.
But I do like Sundays, and I'm also a fan of Wednesdays.
I was just about to say Wednesday is my day.
Yeah, Wednesday for me, middle of the week. Usually, like we just said a minute ago, it's probably going to be, some houses are going to be busy. It's it's Halloween Horror Nights, but yeah, middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, usually my favorite days to go.
Yeah, Wednesday, if you want to run houses, I would probably say Friday or Sunday if you want to hang with friends and do zones, shows, grab some food and stuff.
Yep,
that's a good point.
Yeah. So Tim, when should we get there? And what should we do first?
As early as possible. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so
midday.
Halloween Horror Nights opens at 6:30 p.m. on selected nights, and at the end of it varies by day. Assuming you are a first-time visitor and plan to do one night, we would recommend planning the evening to make sure you experience everything this event offers. So we're going to talk about Stay and Scream. We kind of mentioned this earlier. So Stay and Scream is a must-do if you plan to do everything in one night. These are pens or holding areas that you wait on while the park empties the regular park guests. To get into the holding area, you need a valid daytime admission, or you can scream early, and this is what I was going to bring up earlier, Ash. For $25, that gives you admission to Universal Studios from 3 p.m. So this is good. When me and Brady went, whenever the last time we went, we had brought one of Brady's friends, and he did not have a Universal Studios pass, an annual pass or anything. So I basically paid the $25 for him to come in so we can get in at 3 o'clock so we would ensure that we get Stay and Scream and, start running houses. I think this is an amazing add-on. For only $25, technically you get into the park 3 hours earlier because, technically 6 o'clock is usually when we start getting the release into the to the houses from Stay and Scream because the rest of the event opens at 6:30. Am I wrong? Right? It's usually like a half hour before the event starts. That's when they start releasing us. Okay. So I honestly think this is another good bang for your buck. So, it gives you a couple hours. You can go ride, do whatever. If you've never been or don't have a pass and, just want to go check out Universal Studios, you can go do this for a few hours and it's only $25. Would even stretch to say Express Pass would be ideal if you're going the one night, if it's going to be a busy night, but it can be done without, especially with Stay and Scream. I think Stay and Scream is probably one of the most important things for anyone that has one of the passes, Frequent Fear, Ultimate Fear, whatever it may be.
Yep.
Okay, so Stay and Scream pits or pens are usually at Springfield, Finnegan's, and then the Hello Kitty area, which is Hollywood. So before we go any further, boys, which is the go-to pen?
I have two reasons. So
Okay.
two
All
reasons.
right, Gary, what do we got?
Why you don't have a wrong answer. So right.
Oh, okay.
This is my
Fair
reasoning.
enough.
Okay. So
Okay.
if you have, just say you had 2 nights at Horror Nights,
Okay.
right, and you were doing Stay and Scream on both of them, right?
Okay.
Finnegan's, if you want to smash those big IPs, your Stranger Things, your Ghostbusters, that sort of stuff, just please wear sunscreen because Finnegan's is freaking brutal.
Yeah.
If you want to hide in the bar, that's fine, but you're wasting your time in the Stay and Scream pen because you want to be right at the front, because the Finnegan's one in recent years has been split into 2 pens. If you've noticed when you've been at Finnegan's, there's an earlier pen and there's a later pen.
Yes.
If you want to be one of the first to get into the house, you've got to be at the front, and there's just no shade whatsoever.
No.
Once you are in the front of that pen, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you've got your 2 nights and you want to smash those blockbuster houses out, get right to the front of Finnegan's. But then, if you go to the Simpsons Stay and Scream, which is the smarter move, this is where you'll catch me every single time, you can smash the whole back end of the park out within an hour easily.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I am 100,000% in agreement with that, Gary. Yes.
And you can sit in the AC, grab a Duff beer and some tots, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would choose. I probably would choose Springfield over Finnegan's, but like you said, if you have 2 nights, why not do both so you can hit one side of the park as well? One thing I would say as well is kind of keep your eye out on if a certain area is access or early access to a house. I can remember when they used, when they did American Horror Story in Soundstage 19, the same as the repository, and that was the Hello Kitty area, and that was early access to that house.
Yes,
that was like an extra pen, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes. That was its own pen, and that American Horror Story that got like 100, 150 minutes every night. So, so just be kind of having a look in what if you can get early access. But I'm a Springfield guy, and I think Lucas too. He likes to knock out those sprung tents at the back, and
I just feel like with the Springfield one, there's no sort of rush. You don't have to like fight to be at the front of that pen because it's such an open pen and it can go in both directions. You can just stay inside Moors and you can just wander out a couple of minutes before they do to let out. And you can come and go as you please with it. That pen is quite big compared to the Finnegan's one. And again, you could smash all of them backside of the houses out straight away and then head to the big blockbuster ones later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the key is the blockbuster ones are going to be the Finnegan's pen.
Yep.
I mean, I can't tell you how many nights we were in the Springfield one, and you can go run those tent houses 2-3 times each.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
easily.
You just keep looping and looping.
Keep looping around. And then if you do that, then you can continue on your path and head over to ET, and then usually the other, because sometimes one of the houses is open over there.
Yeah, one opens,
but
tends
it's
to
never
open later, isn't
right,
it?
but it's never both. So it's usually the 3 tent houses in the back, usually, or it's 2 of them and one over by the ET Barney area where you get in. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. Like Springfield every time I think is the one. But if it's like one of those blockbuster houses that you're like, I need to get into this tonight, go to Finnegan's. Just like Gary said, wear your sunscreen because even though it's September, October, it still is just brutal here.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be the hottest section of the park.
Oh,
I've never felt heat like it.
There's no shade
at all
anywhere.
No,
exactly.
And those people run. Those people at the front, they run to that. Yeah, like you said, you need to be at the front because once they open that pen, there's people sprint into the houses.
It's like a free for all.
Yeah,
yeah. It's pretty bad. I know they can't really manage it, but it is pretty badly managed because you could be right at the front, but then people from the back will just push past you. I mean, I've seen people fall over because people are pushing and shoving, and as well. I think they could do with putting they could do with putting some like umbrellas up or something in that section just while the pen's open, or some shades over the building or something, just because.
Well, usually they have fans out there, but they never work, or they're never running them, or something's always an issue with them.
If you're on the inside closer to Finnegan's, you don't benefit from them anyway because there's people in front of you. But it will be interesting if, I mean, we haven't heard of Stay and Scream's coming back this year, but it will be interesting if it's on. How are they going to manage? Not so much Springfield because that tends not to be like a cattle market, but Finnegan's 100%. You are you are in shoulder to shoulder with people. So
Yeah,
be very interesting to see how
for sure.
they do that. I just hope it's not reservations and people start, complaining like the Velocicoaster hoo-ha because they didn't get a reservation and
Yeah.
hot mess.
Yeah.
God, hot mess. All right. So for recent events, it's typical to have 10 mazes, 5 zones, and 2 shows, and to get a full experience, it can be time consuming. We definitely suggest making a list of mazes you want to see in order to make sure you do the ones you really want to do first and work backwards from there. Again, so depending on, where those mazes are in the park, that's probably going to be your decision on which pen you're going to go to first.
Yep.
Hit the branded IPs early from Finnegan's, or speed run some tents at the back from Springfield, and then time shop from there. Hitting the houses that are close together too would be ideal. That's it. Like that whole group of the 10 houses in the back, Men in Black and then the 2 over there. You always hit those 3 together.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah.
If a house you really want to do is a 60-minute plus wait and you really want to do it, then knock that out. So again, you'll know whichever the big IP houses are. After the first weekend, you're going to realize, 120-minute wait. 240-minute wait.
Yeah.
150-minute wait. Because everybody's going to post it and put it on Twitter or Instagram just so you can see. So that'll help you, base your decision as well.
That's it.
If the event that night is running until 2 a.m., some mazes can be done with little to no wait in the final hour or two, and this is kind of what I was talking about. I feel like a lot of times people just start clearing out because if it's a lot of locals, they got to drive home, they got work the next day, whatever it may be. Obviously you're still going to have tourists and whoever's staying on property, but a lot of locals drive in, so that will clear a lot of people out. And I can't tell you how many times, people will tell you, oh yeah, I was able to do, 4 houses in the last, hour, which is fantastic, because it clears out. So keep that in mind, especially with the big IPs. If you didn't get to it in the beginning of the night, don't panic, because I think there's some hope at the end of the night.
Yeah.
In that last hour.
Yeah.
So that's that for that. I mean, you guys got any other, tips and tricks or anything for stay and scream and whatnot?
I just think doing your research before you go, especially if it is your first time, just make a list of what is most important to you.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got one night, because you can't do everything in one night. I mean, you could do all the houses, and you could walk through the scare zones, but you couldn't take in the scare zone. To me, isn't something that you just walk through. The scare zone to me is something that you stand, you watch the actors develop, you watch different scares, you watch the cast changes because different casts work differently to the other cast. So in my eyes, you can't do everything in one night, because I couldn't imagine fitting 10 houses in, 2 shows in enough time to take in the scare zones in one night. I think you'd be pushing it a lot to enjoy it. I feel like if you did that, you'd be rushing around a ton. So just make a list and prioritize what is most important to you. If it gets to a point where you've only got one night and you can't fit everything in, I would definitely just plan another night if that's possible and spread that across, because I think you'll enjoy your time a lot more at Halloween Horror Nights and you'll get a lot more out of your time at Horror Nights if you just plan and prioritize and not try to cram everything in. That's my 2 cents anyway.
Yeah. And if you have any questions or need help or whatever, reach out to us.
Mm-hmm.
Ask us questions on Twitter or whatever. We'll be glad to answer and help you guys out with anything. So, all right, Gary.
Well, that's not it, guys. We have some more cool stuff at Horror Nights.
But wait, Horror Nights there's more.
Halloween Horror Nights is well known now for its special food and drink offerings, and they have some cool stuff on show. Ash has written here, if you're on a time constraint, we would recommend getting food and drink on the go. There's tons of carts scattered around the park. There's even quick service stuff as well. One of the things which me and Tim are just about to have a debate as soon as I mention it.
Here we go.
We have twisted taters, which are awesome. It's just like a potato chip spiral with some seasoning. Quick one, guys. What's your go-to flavor? It's got to be salt and vinegar for me.
The salt and vinegar, yeah, for sure.
I'm a big fan of salt and vinegar too. So
I just love the burning feeling on your lips and your mouth. Yeah. It's just awesome.
So good.
Next up, we have pizza fries. Triggered warning for Tim here, because they do come with crinkle cut fries.
Worst
which is
cut
all.
ever.
It's always been a debate on RIP tour. More recently, we now have s'mores fries. Did you guys try them?
I did not, because I'm not a huge fan of a sweet potato.
Right.
I did try them. Not a massive fan. I did try them though.
I liked them. I didn't think they were going to work when I saw the sweet potato, but when I had everything together, I think it did work well. I did enjoy it.
I feel like
And we also,
I feel like most people we talked to that had that did seem to enjoy it for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
got
couldn't
good-
eat
it got good
a full
reviews.
portion. Well, I think we split it between. I think there was 4 of us who split one
Yeah.
portion because they're all very sickly.
Yeah.
But they were nice in a small portion. But as well, depending on the event, we also have a themed event. So we've seen Ghostbusters popcorn in a ghost trap box, which I really wish I'd bought the box
Sick.
because that was so
Yeah,
cool.
same.
Yeah.
We had Stranger Things pumpkin donuts.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
We had a pop-up Starcourt Mall that did a bento box.
yeah.
We had the street corn. What else? We've had some Killer Clown stuff. We've had the Killer Clowns cotton candy and the chocolate
Yeah.
bars.
What about that Slimer hot dog too? You know, with the green
Oh
kind of
yes.
ectoplasm on it. that
Um,
looked appealing.
the cupcake, the Stranger Things cupcake with the lights all around it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a chainsaw cupcake, which is the vanilla
Ooh,
cupcake
yeah.
with like a candy chainsaw sticking out the top. Voodoo Donuts as well. Also have a Horror Nights donut every year. What was the one last year? What was it shaped like again?
Did he have like a run? I can't remember what it had. It had the lights on it. It said
Yes.
run on it from 29.
Yes.
Yep, they had that. Yep, that was cool. They also have stuff like what you written, Ash? There, the pork hoagie and the chicken kebab from her.
Yeah,
I didn't have them.
Oh, the pork hoagies was a cart near Men in Black. And they had like
Right.
chicken kebabs and pork hoagies. That was like an offering for that year. Oh, that was good. I wish they could bring those back, those pork hoagies.
Yeah, but they have had over the past few years had some amazing themed food.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing to tick off in itself because there's loads of different things all the way around the park that you can sample. Horror Nights usually post about them. Sorry, Tim?
I was gonna say you could literally probably have a night if you just wanted to be a foodie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And just
do a food crawl.
Yeah, if you're there for multiple nights, that would be kind of a fun thing to do, and just like try all the different food and drink offerings that they do have for HHN. So,
well, that's what I try to do. That obviously over me 2-3 week stay at Universal, I'll try and every time I'm at the event, just try something new. Like one night I had the street corn and the bento box.
I'm a little upset I didn't get to try
stuff.
the street corn. I did not get to it. I heard,
dude,
that
it was
just...
so. I'd never had street corn before, but I'd always wanted to try because it's not really a thing here in the UK.
Yeah.
And I really hope they've got it this year because I will be buying that multiple times. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed that. But the food is not it. Universal Orlando at Horror Nights also has a huge list of signature drinks. And this is just a way for Universal to get more money, basically, because suckers like me have to buy the awesome souvenir Blinky cups. Now, Universal the past couple of years have not been stupid, and they've realized how many people buy the Blinky cups. So basically, the Blinky cup is just a see-through tumbler with a light in the bottom that flashes and it makes your drink light up and stuff. But over the past couple of years, Universal have got really smart and realized that these are a cult following, and they've started to do different designs at different times of the event. And suckers like me spend like $15, $16 a drink just so I can have the glass. Basically.
And then Gary leaves and will text me and be like, okay, I know this cup is being released next week. Can you please get this for me? Be like, yes, sir, of course. But I mean, that's totally it, though. They're smart because they release those certain glasses.
Yeah.
They'll do 2 weeks at a time, and then they go to the next one, do another 2 weeks, and then do the next one. What was the last one? It was
Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns.
Stranger Things, Ghostbusters,
Things.
and Monsters.
Universal Monsters. That's right.
Oh, and they had an arcade one as well, Ash.
Yeah,
they had one with just the arcades.
That's right. I forgot about that too. Yeah.
I think they had 5. Was it 5 total?
I think it might have been 5.
It was 5, and they had the four glass ones. The souvenir glass ones you could buy too.
Yeah, they were awesome as well. But that's not it. Like obviously they had the 80s drinks last year, such as Blood Pit, Twilight Gateway, Vampire's Curse from 29. They had the Jacked Up Carnage drink from 25, Chance's Kiss. So they're all themed to the event. Yeah. They do taste good, but they don't have a ton of alcohol in them. They're usually very over sweet.
I was going to say very sweet.
Get that extra shot in.
Yeah, I tend to just buy them just to get the glass, basically. I usually end up, Becca usually gets the drink because I'll just have like the beer because they do a ton of specialty beers. Last year they started brewing the Miami Weiss. I don't know if you guys tried that. That was such a nice beer brewed obviously locally.
Yeah.
They always have the pumpkin. What's the pumpkin beer they do? Is it
Oh, I forget
Pumpkinhead?
the name.
Shipyard.
Shipyard, yep, that's it. Yep,
Yeah.
they do the pumpkin beer there. So they do have a lot of fall themed stuff as well. But they do have the Transformers extended queue over the last few years as well has been turned into a makeshift bar.
Yeah.
So what did we have? Did we have the pumpkin bar? Was it called?
It was called yeah.
Yeah, I
The
think
pumpkin
so.
bar.
And then
I mean, it
what
looked
did
like
we
a
have?
pumpkin bar. I mean, it would just look typical like fall, Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween.
Leaves,
Yeah,
pumpkins. Yeah, it looked great.
So that was the full spirit bar, wasn't it? You could go up there and get your spirits and stuff. Where the carts just tend to sell like the Blinky Cup drinks and draft beer in bottles, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I need to ask the most important question ever, though.
Go on.
Why is there no Fat Tuesdays cart in Universal Studios or a small place in a building?
Because I think our party would literally drink a try.
we'd miss the entire event. That's why.
Because I think one of us would try and steal the cart and just wheel it around the park all night.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I mean,
there's a cart there too. Across from Voodoo Donuts, there's a cart where they just
there's
pull
a cart.
and
then
they don't let you take it into the park. That's
bring it into the park.
I want to be able to have that walking around the park.
I know.
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
It'd be dangerous as hell, but
now everybody knows why we go to Fat Tuesdays before and after the event.
Oh my god, those extra shots in the drinks. Oh my god,
it's lethal.
Does you?
Well, that does it for the food and drink. Ash, do you want to round us off with some miscellaneous facts from the event?
Sure. Yeah, we'll start with merchandise. So typically,
boy.
Gary's pocket is screaming right now.
So if you're on a budget, I would, because they always release merchandise, way before the event even starts anyway. So if you're budgeting, maybe kind of pick merchandise you want up front, I guess. And what's usually offered are the shirts. One's normally dedicated to the houses, one's normally dedicated to the scare zones, and then specific IPs that are there, shirts for them. Also lanyards, mugs, shot glasses, prints of the event, etc., which are a nice keepsake, So I will just pick maybe one or two if you're on a budget, or if not, like you, Gary, just buy everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
your wallet. I think your wallet cries every year.
It's not even funny. I didn't even go to the HHN Light last year, and I spent over $300. Like Jason was just getting sick of me at one point.
I feel like, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like the number one thing, like if you're gonna get one thing, I feel like it has to be like the actual event shirt with all the houses on the back. I feel like that should be the go-to. Like if you're, you don't want to spend a lot of money on, souvenirs or whatever. I feel like that one is the go-to though.
Yeah, I have a couple of go-to things that I buy every year. One has to be the IP shirt, just to remember all the houses from the event. And I always get a shot glass as well from the event shot glass.
Yeah.
And as of late, I've always got the print as well. Because I think they've really stepped up from around 28. I want to say they've stepped up the merchandise game a lot.
Agreed, yeah.
By offering the prints and stuff. And even last year during HHN Light, they had, Ash has got one behind them, the 16 print. They offered all them up again for this year, or last year, sorry, now, because it was in 21. And I don't think a lot of the print and stuff is badly priced. Would you guys agree for theme park stuff?
No, it's not awful.
No. I don't think the upmarket, upprice it a ton. I mean, this print, for people who are watching on the video podcast version, this print behind me, I believe, was it around $25, Ash?
Yeah, I think it was, what is it, $25, $30, something like that.
Which I don't think is bad, because that's like a signed poster by like the artist.
Yeah, it's big too. It's quite a decent size.
I'm struggling to find a frame for it because of the USA sizes are totally different here. Yeah. I can't find a frame.
Mine is actually right above us. Yeah, I'm just looking at it straight ahead of me, right there. But, I know. What are a t-shirt? T-shirts are roughly what, $28?
28.90 something.
That sounds about right.
Which again is not really bad. They're all good quality as well. I mean, my shirts are pretty. If you watch my vlogs, I pretty much watch a Horror Night shirt every day, and the quality's good. They've never washed out. They've never shrunk. They've never went out of shape. So I always come back with about 5-6 Horror Nights shirts every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So then we'll go on to the next one, which is the weather. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We know what Florida's like, and if you're going on vacation there, you know what the Florida's like. If you are flexible, just keep an eye out for the weather, because it can affect the event, especially scare zones outside. But I mean, the Florida rain doesn't tend to last too long usually, so I will just keep my eye out for that as well.
If it's HHN, it's gonna rain.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna rain. It will though affect, and it has in the past, some of the houses not closing. But there have been, oh God, what was the name of the house that had the tilted floor? With the riverboat.
No,
the riverboat as the facade.
I know what you mean.
Oh,
Dead Waters.
Dead Waters. Yeah.
So that house, you remember when you first walked in, you made the turn, and then you were on
slant.
it was a slanted. So when it rained, they made you go through the, I guess they had a handicapped way of going, where the floor was just regular. So they would send you that way so you wouldn't slip and fall. But yeah, for the most part, I think, just like Ash said, just, keep your eye on it. Sometimes you won't see the people on stilts if it's raining. So they'll just be, on the ground, just walking around instead of stilts. So just safety precautions, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think remember the 1 year with Hurricane Matthew, they had to add 2 nights to the event.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's the first time ever. I think it was. The event didn't go ahead that night, so they added 2. I think they added the first 2 weekend days in November, I believe. Just to kind of make up for it. Definitely.
Didn't a couple of the houses get water damaged as well that year, or was that a different year? Was that Irma?
That might have been Irma.
Might have been, yeah, possibly.
I think a couple of the tent houses got a little bit damaged, I think, then.
Yeah, but that time, September is hurricane season.
I was gonna say that brings up a really good point. Hurricane season. So like September, October is prime hurricane season here in Florida. So just be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one, I would say this is a big one too. I mean, for me personally, I don't think it's a big thing for everybody, but I would say know the content.
I agree with that.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an IP coming, whether it's TV show or a movie that you've never seen, I would say to make sure you watch it before the event, just because a lot of these mazes they pull from IPs are literally screen accurate.
Yep.
And then even if it's an original, if it's a returning original, I would just say familiarize yourself with the prior house or scare zone that may have been there, just so you know the story as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think TV shows can be tough. I mean, for example, when they did American Horror Story, they did the 3 seasons, which is 39. I think it's 13 episodes a season, 39 episodes. That can get a little tough, but
yeah.
So let me ask a question to you guys then. Have you been to an event with an IP there that you've never seen before, and you were wondering what was that, guy? What was the
worst house I've ever been through? Ash versus Evil Dead.
I'm gonna punch you in the face. Well, I don't know why you hate this house so much. It was fun.
It's just awful.
It was a fun house. I do like the Evil Dead. I've only seen the first season of Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm not a massive fan.
Did you guys watch the show?
I tried, but I just couldn't even get into the show either.
Oh my God! Season. What is wrong with you, Gary? What?
And I think that's the character of Ash Williams, right? He is kind of like a funny dude. And that's what the house is.
He's arrogant. He's supposed to
be
like that. So I don't know. I loved this house. I thought it was so much fun. Don't listen to Gary, everybody. I'm just kidding. You all have your own opinions. It's all good.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, especially for the IPs. They are so screen accurate. I mean, originals you can get away with because they tell their own story, but the IPs are literally plucked from the movie. So I would say definitely take the time to see those. Next one would be age limit and dress code. Dress code, strictly no costumes, no masks. It is a Halloween party, but do not wear your own costumes or masks. You will be denied entry. Also, there is no official age restriction. It does have a recommended minimum age of 13. And if you are going with a family, or you think you're going for the first time, you're unsure whether it's suitable for 13-year-olds or younger, just maybe go on YouTube and watch some vlogs or some scare zone walkthroughs. Just see if it's for you. That's what I would suggest. And then, the tribute store. What do you guys have? I mean, this hasn't been a thing for forever, but what do you guys think of the addition of the, not just Horror Nights, but Mardi Gras, the Christmas one? I mean, what do you think of the addition of the tribute store?
I
I
love
love
it.
it.
I think it's
Yeah.
a great. I think it's in a great spot.
Yep.
So it's easy for them to update whether Halloween, Christmas, what Mardi Gras, and I love what they always do with like what's inside, because it's always different rooms and themes and catered to the event. Which also which is great. Also inside the tribute store is they have those. You can get so many more T-shirts printed that are not actually at the event, on display or something, but you go to a computer, you look at these prints, and you get them done, which is, I think, another fantastic idea that they brought in.
Yeah.
And there's
That,
food in there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That Stranger Things room though, inside the tribute store, like, just, you can't believe that's just a store. You think you could pay money to go through that as an experience,
I know you weren't here, Gary, for HHN Light, but man, the Beetlejuice.
I know. I saw photos, and
it was.
I hope it has something similar this year. I really do.
Oh, so they did such a great job in there on Beetlejuice. I can't say enough about it. It was so good.
Yeah, I feel bad bringing that up because Gary, Gary's a super fan and didn't get to see that, but hopefully
it comes back.
Plug some stuff, and I think even the Frankenstein's monster room was really good. And
that was awesome too. Yeah,
and the transition going from that room to Beetlejuice, all the event flyers and brochures on the wall.
I took so much time walking in that hall because I was just checking out all the different posters from each year and stuff. That was so cool. Man. So cool.
Yeah, so cool. But I think I agree. The tribute store, if you have the time, like we said, if you're not on a time constraint, just to go in the tribute store, take a stroll around. So much more cool, like Easter eggs and think like the Beetlejuice stuff. And then that brings us to the last thing. If you're there for opening weekend, if they do it opening ceremonies, which is obviously the opening of the event, typically it's scare actors for the event. It just doesn't happen every year, but it's normally like a small show with the scare actors who kind of open the event. You wouldn't need to go to opening weekend to catch it, but just in case you're there for opening weekend, to maybe go early just to catch that as well. Just for the ambience, just to kind of open the event, I would suggest that as well. But
for sure,
yeah, that's pretty much it for the miscellaneous. Do you guys have anything to add in terms of anything with Misc maybe for first timers?
I do have a couple of little tips. One of them, wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah,
we will get a ton of walking, especially with the back houses like ET. Up behind there, it's quite a long walk down to there and quite a long walk back. And another tip as well, I've seen this the past couple of years, usually at the front outside of the Universal store, the main gift store, they have a age check location where you can get like a band. So you show them your ID and you can get a band. And it means if you do want to drink alcohol at the event, you don't have to get your ID out every time. That is such a game changer because some of the queues are quite busy and you do feel sort of rushed. So if you do want to grab a beer, it is sometimes awkward having to get your ID out every time, get a check and get it back. So you can go to the front of the park, show them your ID, they will give you a band, and you just show them your band basically when you buy a beer, and they know that you've been age checked.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tip I'd recommend.
Yeah. That's a big one too. I swear last time I went, I got the band from the Addons Adventure side. I think I bought a beer in Addons Adventure and I got the band over in that side. Then obviously I made my way to Stain Scream and I still had the band on. But yeah, that's a huge point. So you're not in and out taking your ID out all the time.
Yeah, I did do that at Fat Tuesdays once because they do put a band on in City Walk as well. But the City Walk one, they wouldn't allow me to use inside the park. Now, I don't know if that was just a one-off team member thing or if it is a set thing. But I did say, look, I've been age checked at Fat Tuesdays and City Walk, but I did have to get another one in the event, which wasn't bad. I just pulled the City Walk one off and put the park one on. But that will save you a ton of time just going up and just showing your band and paying for your beer, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think I'd like to add that there are many spots because it's going to be long nights. You're going to get tired. You're going to get hot. There are some AC places to go and just hang out. Go over to Springfield. Where else?
Munsters is an awesome place to chill out.
Is an awesome place to hang out.
Sit down and chill.
Because of the theming as well.
Yep. You can go sit in the Italian restaurant or the pizza place.
Louis. That's what I've started. That's what I've dubbed the school cafeteria, because that's where the Stranger Things kid crowd went to sit and play on their phones and iPads and stuff once they'd finished running the one house they were interested in.
Yeah.
But just so you know, like if you're getting tired and hot and sweaty, because it's going to happen, it's going to be brutal. It's a good place to just hang out for 10, 15 minutes and just kind of collect yourself, and then go back out and finish up your night, which is awesome.
One extra thing as well, which I know you do a lot of, Tim, is the Coke Freestyle Cups.
Oh man, so this one is really good. I wish I had a price off the top of my head, but you pay for the big plastic cup at, let's say, the beginning of the event, and you pay, I don't know, whatever, let's just say $30, and you get free refills for the rest of the night. I know they change things during sometimes, but the 1 year they let us refill every single night at the event for free.
Oh, you paid like $40, didn't you, and it was for the whole event?
And it was for the whole event. And then they changed it where it was only like
between certain times, wasn't it?
No. You paid like $6.
Right.
For like the night. But it's a great thing because it keeps you hydrated. They have water, there's soda, there's all kinds of different, and they even have some of the theme. There's Halloween Horror Night themed.
Oh yes,
drinks and like sodas, if you will. Gary, you probably know better than I did because I think you hit those up a bunch of the times, right?
Yeah, they had like a Stranger Things themed one, I believe, one year.
Yeah.
It's just like a mix of the syrup that they've got in, but it's still cool to try it out. And
exactly. But
another little side tip though is if you activate it in the morning, if you're a daytime guest, it does actually last all day, and it stays active for the event as well.
Yep.
Because it's like a 24-hour period. So if you were going to get the cup and you were a daytime guest, definitely buy it first thing in the morning. Yeah. Because you get the 24-hour use out of it, so it saves a bit more money.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that's going to do it. Unless do you have anything, Ash?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything there, yeah.
Yeah, bud.
But again, a few people reached out and we asked for ideas, and Horror Nights 30 is a big year, so I think it's going to attract a lot of new people. So I have seen, again, like I mentioned, quite a lot of people asking loads of different things about the event. So we thought we'd do a brief overview just for you guys to listen to and to watch as well, because this is going to come out in video podcast form a little bit later than the audio one.
And I can guarantee an announcement is coming soon. No, I really don't know anything. Don't quote me.
As soon as we hit upload.
I have just been saying this for the last few days to these guys. I was like, I just feel an announcement is coming super soon, and I'm hoping sometime this week. So please announce something.
We did see a tweet from our friends over at Horror Nights Nightmares.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They did tweet a picture of the Shadybrook police.
Sure did.
Could be something.
Scary in the tweet.
Yeah.
So could that be the Carey house being announced as soon as we hit upload?
Of course. No, I don't know.
probably
I mean, I hope so. I mean, honestly, if I want the announcement of tickets and passes. That's really what I want first. I mean, yes, I want to know, all the houses, but I really just want to know so I can plan, how we're going to do this. If, we're going to have those frequent fear passes or whatever, or if it's going to be reservation system or whatever it's going to be. I just want to know about that.
Yeah, for sure. But that's going to do it, guys. Anything to add?
No, I'm just hope these people who are listening, if you are new, hope it's, answer some questions for you. And, if you see us in the fog, come and say hi. And
for sure.
Any questions, we're always here.
Tim, where can people find us?
Follow us at RIP Tour Podcast on Instagram and the Twitter.
And guys, we also have a shirt merchandise store. So we do have some t-shirts with some pretty cool designs on. We have our RIP Tour podcast logo, but we also have 2 comic book style print designs as well. One original one, which is out of Scarecrow the Reaping, and we have our new one outside the Universal Arches since Ash joined the team. And they are both awesome. We are still looking at getting them into print form. That's something we're going to
working on it.
We're working on it. It will come. I know I keep saying it will come. But for now, you can buy them in t-shirt form. They're great quality, and I do have to say so, they're pretty reasonably priced myself. So yeah, that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thanks for listening. Please do leave us a 5-star review if you do enjoy the show on Apple Podcasts. It does help us There's no sort of rating on Spotify, but we appreciate you listening as well, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.